Hello students, this is Girijesh Kumar Mal, lecturer in English in Sri Gandhi Vidyalaya Inter College, Bachnawa, Raebareli. Dear students, today we are going to study the rest part of the lesson My Childhood and extract from the biography Wings of Fire of Dr. Abdul Kalam, who was an Indian scientist and administrator who served as the 11th President of India. Dear students, in the previous lecture, we have learned about some important aspects of Kalam's childhood, about his upbringing, about his friends, and the parental teaching. We can say that Kalam acquired his foremost qualities from his surroundings. Today, we shall continue the same chapter and we begin the story of Kalam's childhood. Dear students, we have completed half portion of this very chapter. Now come to start the next paragraph, which is here. During the annual Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site situated in the middle of the pond called Ram Tirth, which was near our house. Actually, here there is a word Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony. Actually, Ram Kalyanam ceremony is known as Kalyanotsav. It means marriage festival. In South India, marriage is known as Kalyanam. So, Lord Ram and Sita's marriage is called Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony. It is the ceremony of the depiction of the marriage between Sita and Ram. Kalam says, whenever Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony used to take place, Kalam's family also took part in it. They used to arrange the boats for it. They used to make a special platform on the boats on which the statue of Ram and Sita were placed and transported from the temple to the marriage site, which was in the middle of the pond named Ram Tirth. Here, Ram Tirth. This pond was near Kalam's house. You can see it in the picture also. When he was growing up, Kalam says that when he was growing up, he never thought that there was any difference between Hindus and Muslims, as they participated in the Hindu festivals wholeheartedly. Dear students, can you tell me how did Kalam's family take part in Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony? Yes, Kalam's family used to make a special platform on the boats for the statue of Ram and Sita. Very good. Come to the next paragraph. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. Kalam says that they listened to stories from the Ramayana and the life of the prophet from their mother and grandmother as a bedtime stories. So they listened to the stories of both Hindu gods as well as Muslims gods. There was no differentiation on grounds of religion. Dear students, can you tell me what was the bedtime story? Actually, the stories from the Ramayana and the life of the prophet was the bedtime story. Very good. Come to the next paragraph. One day, when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram elementary school, a new teacher came to our class. he used to, sorry, Kalam says that I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Sastri, who wore the thread, secret thread, which is known as Janeu in Hindi. Actually, Kalam belonged to a Muslim family. He used to wear a cap on his head which identified him as a Muslim. His friend Ramananda Sastri, you can see here Ramananda Sastri, who was the son of the priest of Rameshwaram temple, belonged to a Hindu Brahmin family and used to wear the secret thread worn by Brahmins. When these children were in class 5th, a new teacher came to their class. Here, Abdul Kalam recalls an incident which happened then. What happened? The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramananda Sastri. He looked utterly downcast as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. Dear students, here could not stomach, it means could not tolerate. Here there is a word downcast, it means sad or depressed, and impression, it means effect. Here Kalam says that this new teacher could not tolerate a Hindu priest's son was sitting next to a Muslim boy. He told Kalam to go and sit on the last bench as he belonged to a lower rank of the society. Both the children felt very bad. When Kalam changed his seat and went back and sat on the last bench, Ramananda Sastri felt very bad. Kalam still remembers the image of his friend Ramananda crying. It left a lifelong impression on Kalam of his friend's feeling for him. Then what happened? After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshman Sastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction. Lakshman Sastri conveyed ultimately reform this young teacher. Here, summoned, it means called. Bluntly, it means directly. Apologize, seek pardon. Conviction, it means belief or opinion. Actually, after school, both children, both friends, Ramananda Sastri and Kalam, went home and told their parents about this incident. And Ramananda's father, Lakshman Sastri, called the new teacher and scolded him. He told him not to kill the children's friendship by putting the discrimination of caste and religion into their innocent minds. Lakshman Sastri was very clear in himself. He told the teacher, either you ask sorry for the wrong you have done, or else leave the school and Rameshwaram town also. The teacher asked sorry for the mistake which he had done, and due to Lakshman Sastri's determination, here conviction, determination, his thoughts about religion and caste also changed. Dear students, can you tell me who told the new teacher not to kill the children's friendship by putting discrimination of caste and religion into their innocent minds? Please tell me. Yes, Ramananda's father Lakshman Sastri told the new teacher not to kill the children's friendship by putting discrimination of caste and religion into their innocent minds. Very good. Now come to the next paragraph. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of the segregation, it means separation of different social groups. However, my science teacher Shiva Subramaniam Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, conservative, it means traditional, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle. Mingle, it means interact with each other easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop it so that you are on par with the highly educated people of these big cities. Dear students, actually there was a division of society into four groups: Brahmins, Kshatris, Vaisya and Sudras. And it was strictly followed in Rameshwaram. Kalam's science teacher Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was a religious person, an orthodox Brahmin, but was a rebellious type of person. Rebellious type of person. He did not believe in distinction on the basis of the caste system. He worked very hard to break these social barriers. He wanted that people of different castes should interact with each other. He encouraged Kalam to work hard so that he could be at the same level as the highly educated people who lived in this big city. Then what happened? One day he invited me to his home for a meal. Meal, it means dawah. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was not perturbed. Perturbed, it means upset. Nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. Actually, Kalam says that his teacher, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer's wife, belonged to a traditional and orthodox Brahmin family. She followed the religion very strictly, and to keep the kitchen pure, no one from an inferior religion was allowed to enter the kitchen. When Shiva Subramaniam Iyer called Kalam for dinner at his home, his wife feared that a boy from a Muslim family would make her kitchen impure. A boy from Muslim family would make her kitchen impure, so she refused to serve him food in her kitchen. Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was neither upset nor angry. He himself served food to Kalam and sat down beside him to eat. His wife stood beside the kitchen door and looked at Kalam while he was having food. Kalam says that he does not think that she felt there was any difference in the way he was having his food, or the way he was drinking water, or the way he cleaned the floor after the meal. Actually, here he wants to highlight that religion does not matter, as it does not alter the way in which a person eats food. Clear? Come to the next paragraph. When I was leaving his house, Shiva Subramaniam Iyers invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. Actually, when Kalam was about to leave Shiva Subramaniam Iyer's house, he invited him for dinner once again. When Shiva Subramaniam Iyer saw that Kalam was feeling hesitation, it means doubt, he asked him not to be upset. He added that if he had decided to change the system to go against the norms of the society, he had to be strong and brave and confront the situation. Dear students, can you tell me what was the name of Kalam's science teacher? Yes, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was the name of Kalam's science teacher. Now, come to the next line. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. Here Kalam says that when he visited Shiva Subramaniam Iyer's home for dinner the next week, his wife made him sit in the kitchen and served him food with her own hands. Like this picture. You can see it in the picture. This was the change that happened. Come to the next line. Sorry. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent, about to happen. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. Actually, when the Second World War got over in the year 1945, India was about to get freedom, which happened in the year 1947. Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhiji, known as father of the nation, was a crucial part of India's freedom struggle. He said that Indians would build their own India. Now come to the next paragraph. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. Optimism, it means hope clear. Unprecedented, it means never done or known before. The entire country was filled with hope and happiness. Everyone was experiencing such a feeling which they had never felt before. Everyone was hoping that now they would get their freedom. Kalam says that I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramnathpuram. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? Actually, Kalam asked his father to allow him to go to Ramnathpuram, which was the district headquarters for higher studies. Here, seagull is a bird. In reply, his father told him that he knew that Kalam needed to go away so that he could move ahead in life. He gave the example of seagull which flies away in the sky all alone and does not have a nest. It means it does not have a home of its own as it keeps on flying from one place to another place. Now come to the next paragraph. He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. Longing, it means desire. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. Actually, Kalam says, when his mother came to know that he was about to leave home and wanted to go to Ramnathpuram for higher studies, she got upset. Kalam's father tried to calm her down and told her a few lines from a famous poem, Your Children, written by Khalil Gibran. He said that your children are not your children, they are the children of life. Don't think that you can rule your children. They are a result of life's desire for itself. They have their own thoughts. He asked her to give them freedom to fulfill their thoughts. And dear students, in this way we have completed this chapter. Keep in your mind that the title of this very chapter, My Childhood, is an extract taken from the biography of Kalam's Wings of Fire. Here, from this chapter, we learned that in his childhood, he was greatly influenced by his parents, his teachers, and his friends. Kalam inherited honesty, simplicity, and self-respect, self-discipline from his father, and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Later on, he became a great scientist and also the 11th President of India, and received several prestigious awards including Bharat Ratna. Dear students, now it is the turn of important questions and their answers. Here is a first question. Why did Abdul Kalam want to leave Rameshwaram? There is answer. Abdul Kalam wanted to leave Rameshwaram in order to study at the district headquarters in Ramnathpuram. The second question is, what did his father say to him? Say to this? His father, Kalam's father, said that he knew he had to go away to make progress. He again said, does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? Now come to the third question. What do you think his words mean? These words mean that every child is the sculpture of his own life. Abdul Kalam's father spoke these words because he knew that Kalam had the potential to grow, so he allowed him to leave Rameshwaram for further study. Now please note down the homework, and homework is, answer this question in short paragraph. What characteristics does he say he inherited from his parents? Dear students, I hope you enjoyed it and learned from it. I will see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Have a nice day.